Well, okay, I have just passed 11 a.m. Arizona time, so time to get started. I see a mad dash for people still coming in to register, but we appreciate everybody being here, certainly today. We know your time is valuable. Few logistical things up front. We expect to present for 40 to 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Hopefully touch on a lot of really important functions and features in the control center for you. And then we'll leave the last 10 minutes open for a Q&A session. In your GoToMeeting application, you should see a section that says questions. If you would like to ask a question, go ahead and put it in that. We will wait to the end to answer those questions so we don't disrupt the flow. And those of you that have ever spoken to me or heard me talk before, I tend to go down rabbit holes. So my team is saying, hey, keep me in line and focused. So if you do have questions, put them in the questions section at any time during the presentation, and we will get through as many of those as we can in the last 10 minutes or so. We will also respond to all of the questions and send the answers out to each of you via email after the presentation itself. So don't use the chat section, use the questions section if you would please. Well, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We certainly appreciate that you're taking the time out of your busy day. This is also really our first foray into this kind of concept of one-to-many education and training. So your feedback's really going to be important for us. We want this to be valuable. We want, when you get an invite like this, to go, oh yeah, no brainer, I should be there because I learned stuff. That's what this is about. This is about nothing else other than adding value for you, because my goal is that we get more and more adoption in the control center, that people are going in it for features and functions they didn't even know exist. And more importantly, maybe they're sharing with us features and functions that they'd like to have in the product, so we can share that with our development team, get those features built into the solution, and really, really continue to grow this product. We're super proud of the fact that we're in just over 8,000 facilities now. When I joined here, we were a little under 500. That was about 5 years ago. And we're certainly blessed to be able to serve you folks out there that have committed to us as a partner when it comes to your access control needs. As most of you know, we do lots of things, not just access control. We do call center services. We do full service kiosk services. We have some online business applications. But today is really specifically about the control center. So we're going to have a couple of quick questions. Okay. God, we've still got a bunch of people coming in. I'm so thrilled at the response to this. So I am going to open a poll here for you. I just want to get to understand the audience a little bit better. These will be quick, no problem. So let me actually open this and launch this poll. And if you would, vote in there, yes or no, if you're an existing INSOMNIAC CIA access control customer. It's interesting, we only invited existing customers, but we know sometimes people share information. It's wonderful. And maybe my marketing team snuck in a little bit of non-customers in there. But that feels about right. As the responses come in, it looks like it's about 95%, 96% existing customers. That's wonderful. I think that means pretty clearly that we've designed the presentation correctly. So 93%, 81% of you have voted. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and close that poll. I think that gives us enough information. All right, so now number 2, if you are, which most of you were, select the function that you use most, or functions. Okay. You can select more than one. I love it. Coming out pretty evenly across reports, opening and closing gates, and insight on tenants at your property. So the customer interactions. It is interesting. The lower numbers are keypad messages, and we'll get into some of that in detail. Your ability to kind of update that OLED on your keypads and really make it an excellent customer experience. And 10% of the folks said they're not using any of the above. Now, remember, 5% of us are not using the solution right now. So that number is pretty small, but that is that's really good to know as we go through the presentation. All right, let me close that one out. And the last one, what is your current staffing model? This is really a curiosity question. You know, we hear all the time people moving to unmanned and hybrid, but the last few shows that I went to, a lot of people were bringing facility managers back. I love that. You know, I love that you know what's best for your business and your customer base. We just want to see where this particular group falls into that category. And wow, yeah, as 75% of the vote comes in, 75% of you are saying, hey, we have facility managers at each facility. The pendulum has almost swung back a little bit, and that is, yeah, hybrid, it certainly is something we're all looking at. Unmanned is less than 4% of you right now, right? So we either haven't figured it out or it just doesn't make sense for you or your business, and maybe your customers. You just need people there. So that is fascinating. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to answer those questions for me. It'll help inform our presenter a little bit and what he's able to show you in today's presentation. So I didn't introduce myself. My name is Bill Hoffman. Sorry, I guess I should have done that in the beginning. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at OpenTech Alliance, but I'm not the important person on this call today. The important person on this call today is Corey. Corey has joined our onboarding team. He does all, we have 5 onboarding specialists for our access control solution. Some of you may have worked with Corey, know Corey. It's a pretty amazing team. In his short period of time here with us, excuse me, he has helped onboard well over 600 facilities and provided support, additional support. You know, we get additional calls. Hey, I want to update my hours of operation. I want to set these alerts. I want to do these reports and these kinds of things, and supported well over 1,000. Corey has really shown he's done amazing work. He loves and cares about our customers. He's very efficient in helping them, and has gone above and beyond to help us internally improve our onboarding process. Again, when I first got here 5 years ago, we were doing 10, 12, 14 rollouts a month, and we average well over 165 new CIAs onboarded every month now. So the team has gotten really good at it, and hopefully that was your experience with our onboarding as you went through it. And again, I want to go back to the feedback part. We want feedback on what we can do better in this presentation, so we can do more presentations like this, or we can cut them up into videos. So as you walk through this, remember, this is a high level. We're going to cover 4 particular categories here in just a minute, but we want your feedback on 2 things. We want your feedback on what you want to learn. We also want your feedback on product improvements. But at this time, without further ado, I want to turn it over to Corey Fishburne, who is going to start with some dashboard and reporting. Corey, say hello to the group.
How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a good day today. I guess we'll get right into it here. So within our IoE system, I'm just going to start from the top, from dashboard and reporting. So first, go into that. Starting here, I'm just going to quickly go over our navigation with our control center here. On the left side, you'll see the navigation column there. You'll have several different options from your notification center, your portfolio overview, administration rights if you do have those permissions, and the current facility you have selected. Now, when you first log in that very first time, it is going to show you on the facility map, letting you know where your facility is at and pulling up a map of all of the facilities within your portfolio. You can easily click on the little blip here for your facility to see some quick statuses of the facility, seeing what might be going on at the site. As well, it'll actually signify in green, yellow, or red in case there's any issues with the system. As you can see, ours is green. That means everything is working all right. Now, to get into the main dashboard of your facility, you can rather click on the OpenTech storage here, which will be your facility's name. Or on the left side, you can see OpenTech Storage. Click on it to bring down the drop down and head to dashboard from there. At the top, you'll have 4 statuses showing all of the things for your facility. Starting with Gateway, that is the brains of the system, or that yellow cabinet that was installed in your office. That controls everything and does all the processing for the system. Devices is going to be everything attached to that device. So that'll be your keypads, any alarm boards you have, or possibly any relay boards for any elevators that might be existing at your facility. Alarms goes hand in hand with the unit alarms there. So if you have any unit alarms, say when somebody was to open up a unit, you can actually set an alarm there to make sure that that unit is on site. In your applications, this is the connection that we do have with your guys' property management softwares. So a few key important ones: SiteLink, Self-Storage Manager, Storage. That shows that we are communicating with them. You can click View Info on any one of these to get a better insight to see what is going on at your facility here. So if I click View Info on devices here, we can actually see everything that's going on with all the keypads and equipment at our facility here. As you can see, all of them got okay, so that means everything is working here. You can click on a few different things here to go further into detail. So if I click on the maintenance okay here, you can actually see our maintenance thresholds. So here is a pretty good way. Let's say you do have a gate keypad and you'd like to set a threshold. So once that gate hits a certain amount of opens, you can actually do your general maintenance on it, as most gates do have a general window around the time that they do need maintenance. And here you can set that threshold to whatever the threshold may be, and just click save, and that'll actually let you know when you do meet or are about to meet that threshold, so you can do the maintenance appropriate to your gate there. You can also click counts here. This will show you the counts for everything on the keypad there, how many times the relays inside the keypad fired, as well as how many times each key has been pressed. Backing out of this, on the left side here, you can see visitors on site. This will let you know how many visitors you have currently on site. Right now it's 7 at our facility here. So we can click on that 7 there and it'll pull up a full list of everybody currently on site here, with the last time they accessed the site, with their name and unit number, and exactly where they are on the facility. Going back to dashboard at the top there, we can see we got a few different keypads here. Now these will be labeled with your specific gate or door names, but you can click open on any one of these and it will open and close as if you were to put your code in at that keypad. Hold will open and hold it open until you do click close. Emergency or emergency open all here. This will actually open up every single one of the doors tied into your system in case, say there's emergency on site, say there's a fire, or potentially you're just doing maintenance on the system and you'd like to open up every single one of the doors. Keypad lockdown, quite similar, but the exact opposite. If you click keypad lockdown, it will disable all of your keypads, not allowing anybody to enter into your facility there. In case you're doing any maintenance or there's an incident on the facility and you need to quickly investigate that before allowing any tenants on site. Also super useful, let's say you're in Florida and a hurricane's coming through, you can quickly disable your facility access so there's no liability on your facility side. Scrolling down, you can see here that we get Honeywell Lyric. Now, we don't have any Honeywell Lyric at the facility here, but we do integrate with Honeywell Lyric thermostats. This will essentially show you each thermostat with their temperature, and you can actually adjust it from our dashboard here, making it a little bit more accessible to you. Then you got the visitor status section. In the top left of that, you'll have the most recent visitors. As you can see, it's showing the past 5 recent visitors with the date they last accessed the facility, their unit number, as well as their name. Most of active visitors here will let you know the most active visitors over a set time frame. In the bottom left of that box, you can see a time frame of about a month there. You can always change that by clicking the little calendar in the top right there, the little tiny one there. You can rather select a custom date, or you can select one of our presets. Popular times is the amount of visits that you have within a weekly or monthly view. You can even see by hovering over the different boxes here that for this month, we're actually above by 22 total visits compared to the previous month there. Tenant visits is the amount of current tenants that are active at your facility. So as you can see, we got 100% activity, letting you know that 100% of our tenants have used the equipment within this month. You can also change this in the top right by clicking the view week or view month. The unit status section is pretty important, or I'd say one of the most useful sections that we do have here when seeing the information that we have in our system and trying to troubleshoot any issues that you might have in the future. Starting in the top left, we do have the units. This is all of the units that get pulled over from your property management software. You can click on any one of these here, so the 17 rented or the 26 vacant or the 0 delinquent units, to see what information we have. So if I click on 17 rented units, that'll pull up all of those units with the customer name, email, and phone number if provided. Unit alarms. This is the unit alarms that we have for your specific units tied into the system. This will let you know if any units are possibly opened or closed, or any that were opened without the tenant actually being on the facility. Customers is all the tenants that we do pull over from your property management software. So if I click on the 17 tenants, we can actually see all of that information that we do pull from your property management software. Seeing here, we got their unit number, their name, what they got access to, the times they're allowed to access the facility, access codes, and then if we scroll to the right, we can even see their status. So this will let us know if they are delinquent or rented. This is a pretty good section. If a tenant comes in and say, hey, my gate code's not working, I don't know what's going on, you can quickly look up their name here and see what possibly might be going on. So if I look up Travis, we can see he's got a few different units here. We can see that his gate code is 5394 or 53949. We can quickly remedy that. So possibly he was putting in the wrong gate code. Possibly we have the wrong gate code in here. So we can quickly go into the property management software, update that, and that'll swiftly update in our system. Lastly is the smart locks section here. This will let you know anything that's going on with the specific unit locks that you do have within your facility. Let you know if any of them have any errors or what's going on with them. So if I click on the 5 OK here, this will pull up the smart lock page where you can actually see all of the different locks tied to the different units here, with specifically if they're unlocked or locked, their battery level, as well if they're overlocked or possibly failed to connect. Going back to the dashboard, scrolling back down to where we were before, just below that, we do have the event graph. And this is just a live graph that shows you everything that's going on throughout your facility throughout the days. So you can see all the access granted events, anybody trying to access different areas of the facility they're not allowed to, invalid access time. So if somebody's trying to access after hours, delinquent tenants trying to gain access, any invalid passcodes, and any loitering events. By default, we do mark people as loitering if they've been on site for more than 3 hours, or if they tailgate out the exit gate, because we actually don't know they ever left the facility. Next is going to be the reports. So on the left side here, you can see in the navigation window, right in the middle of the OpenTech storage, we do have reports. In this column here, you can see quite a few different reports that we do have. Now, a few key or important ones that I really do want to point out here is the no entry, no exit visits. This is a report that will essentially tell you if anybody's been tailgating at your facility. Now, this is pretty important. As you can see, if anybody is possibly using the entry keypad but never exiting, or exiting but has never entered. Next would be the loitering report. Everybody likes to know if anybody's been loitering on their facility, as no tenant should be on site for more than 3 hours. So this is a very quick way to pull that up with the selected time, see if anybody's loitering today, or you could even select the week or the month.
Corey, can they choose to change that 3 hours? If they're okay with people being on for 5 hours, can they change that threshold?
Correct, yeah. So that we can actually change to however long they'd like to be. And we'll be going through that within the configuration side in just a moment here.
Wonderful.
A few other reports, the general activity by unit or activity by visitor, same exact reports here. Now, if you want to look up a specific tenant for whatever reason, say they're being a bit troublesome or you just want to keep a closer eye on them, this is a very quick way to see when they last accessed the facility. So we can look up a name here. I'm going to just look up myself and click search. We can actually see here the date and time that I last accessed the facility with what keypads I did use so I can quickly see where I was about within the facility. Now, all of these reports on the right side, you can see the download and print button there. Very quick and easy. So if you do have any incidents that may happen on the facility and you just want to pull a report to see who's been on site and around the time that the incident happened, you can quickly just print or download that out and give it to the appropriate parties in case you need to give it to the authorities or upper management. Lastly is going to be the scheduled reports at the top here. If you'd like to have a scheduled report that every week or so, or every day or every month, a report gets sent to you via email, you can set that up within our system. So on the right side, you can see the black add scheduled report. Clicking on that, we can select the specific report we'd like to see. So I can go ahead and set up a report to see any visitor that's been inactive for that time. And I can select it for past 30 days, and I want it at the end of every month. So I'm going to select the 31st here. Next, I'll click save. After selecting a time here, perfect. There we go. So at the 31st of every month, I will get a email with the inactivity of all of the tenants at my facility that have not used the equipment.
Corey, I want to mention also, obviously you guys, that have access, you can go through all of these reports, but another one that's used quite a bit is the Storage Genie Visitor Report. You can really tell how many people are using Storage Genie versus not, that app. So as your organization decides that's important to push out to your customers or not, that report is there and available to you.
Definitely. And then one more report here, going to be the facility events report. This is a more generalized report that shows everything that goes on at your facility. So if you're having any troubles with the system or a tenant said, hey, my gate code didn't work at this time, you can pretty quick way to see what may have been going on to kind of troubleshoot that. If I click search here, you can see a whole bunch of things going on here now, bunch of stuff that is there and we really don't care too much about, or stuff we don't want to see right now. So we can actually filter that out by clicking the filter by events button in the center there. I'm just going to click clear all and just select a few that I see are very important or stuff that I want to see right now. Now, one thing here, the text me my code feature, that is a feature that we do provide to you and your tenants. So if the phone number is given to us via your property management software, your tenants are able to put in ***, their phone number pound into one of the keypads if they may have forgotten their gate code and they'd like to receive a text with their gate code.
So Corey, I want to emphasize though, there are some limitations. So that is if we're using the API to integrate to their property management solution. Is that correct?
Correct. So
Yep.
It would have to be via API, so a few key ones would be like self-storage manager, site link. Those two, they do have API.
Okay, very good.
Looking done, we can just click search there and we can see everything that's happened today for those certain events. So we can actually see possibly somebody was trying to access the facility at 10:08. We can see that they tried the invalid passcode twice and then looks like they finally were able to get in there. So quickly, we just went over a few things. We went over how to remotely open and close your gates. So if you are a hybrid or remote manager, our system, it is all cloud-based, so it is not secluded to the facility. So if you access our IoE Control Center, you can actually access that from anywhere. So if you do get a call when you're off-site, you can still open and hold those gates open. We went over site overview and how to monitor your tenants and how to view all the reports.
And Corey, I think it was interesting with such a high percentage of folks having facility managers on property. The customers that are on site is really a nice convenience. I know I speak to a lot of operators that they quickly click on site, they see the unit number, it's 10 minutes before 6, before they're about to close, they walk out to the units and they share with the customer that they're about to close. So there's obvious ways to use the system to be proactive in your engagement with your customers.
Definitely. A few other sections here. We do have the alerts, storage genie, and help section. Now, this is pretty quick and simple here. Now for alerts on the left side where we were seeing before, we can click on alerts for our facility here. Now by default, alerts are disabled, but if you did want to enable any alerts, you could rather receive email or text alerts. I like receiving alerts anytime that the equipment is offline, as that'll instantly let you know, hey, my keypad's not working, and you can try to remedy the solution before, say, you get 200 calls from your tenant saying, hey, gate code's not working, what's going on? It'll definitely help you in the long run. So quickly, how to set that up, we can just enable email alerts here. And then on the bottom drop down here that says gateway status alert settings, we can click on that, alert me on errors only, and that'll actually alert you anytime that the main brains of the system, the gateway controller, is pulling any errors. So if it's offline or if anything has happened to it. We click save. That'll now alert us anytime that happens. Now at the top of the screen there, you can see we have a few different tabs. We have general, event types, visitors, and smart gates. Going to event types here, you can actually see all of those events that were on the facility events report, as we saw previously. You can select any one of those events to start receiving alerts on them. Like I said, I like receiving alerts anytime devices go offline, so on the left column there, I'll select that. Now, a bunch of the alerts that are super useful here. So if you want to receive an alert anytime that say a delinquent tenant tried to gain access, you can receive that. Anytime somebody tried to access the facility after hours, or if you just wanted to receive an alert anytime that say somebody came on site, you can set that up as well. We can click save there and continue. Now, anytime that these events happen, we'll be instantly notified.
And fair warning, be careful, right? A lot of times people set up too many alerts and they're getting all of these emails and text messages and then they become numb to them, right? So our suggestion is, and a lot of clients out there, is pick one or two that you think are important, and then evaluate after 30 days, whatever that looks like. We all hate it when our phone's getting blown up with stuff and we tend to ignore stuff. So just food for thought as you're applying alerts.
Then one other section we have here at the top is visitors. Selecting this, you can see a full list of all of the non-tenant codes we set up, as well as all of the tenants that did pull over from the property management software, with an alert box next to each of their names. If I go ahead and select the alert box next to the OEC easy code here, we can go ahead and start receiving alerts that anytime that this individual or gate code is used. So fairly quick and easy way to see the next time that this person comes on site. Really good in case this person possibly might be moving out and we want to know when they're accessing the facility, as they should be out by a certain designated time. So if they're accessing after that, you'll definitely know. As well, say you haven't been able to get in contact with a specific tenant in quite some time. It's been several months. You've been calling them, emailing them. This is a fairly quick way to set an alert so the next time that they are on site, you can actually go say, hey, you got to sign some paperwork, you got to do this. So it's a little bit easier on you, so you don't have to badger them every single day.
Yeah, food for thought. So a lot of people on the call, but think about the ways in which it would be convenient to be alerted if a visitor came on site. I'm sure you got, well, I know guys know many, many different reasons. One interesting one I know some operators are trying is when we increase their rates, we're flagging them to give us an alert because we don't know if that's driving intentional churn or it's driving people that we don't want to go. It also gives the facility manager the ability to engage that customer when they come on site and do a customer experience check-in, right? Not that you can prevent them from moving out if that was the final straw, but just many different things that you can think of as to why you would want to know if somebody was on site in particular.
Definitely. Then one other thing here, if you did want to create any non-tenant codes as well, as you see, we have a few here that are not tied to any units. You can actually add those on the left side by going to visitors and units here. As you can see, we already got a few codes in this section. This will bring us to the non-tenant section. You can edit or add any codes on the right side by clicking add visitor. It'll bring up this short little card here, and there's only a few things that we do need to create a code. That would just be the first name and last name, and then just a simple code here that we can give them. And then we can select the hours that they're allowed on site. I'm just going to select 24 hours and an access profile letting me know where they're allowed on site. I'll give them all access. You can also see though we do have room for email and phone number. So if you do have, say, a vendor that comes on site every once in a while and you like to create them a code so you can see when they're accessing the facility and you can keep a better track of them, you can select the email or phone number here in case, say, you got to call them or email them at a later time. A little bit easier to store that there. As well, expiration date, super useful. Let's say you have an auction winner and you like to give them a code temporarily so they can only access the facility for the next day or two. You can actually set an expiration date. So I'll select tomorrow. So it'll actually expire at the end of the day tomorrow, so at midnight or when we close.
Yeah, this is huge, Corey. You talk to operators all the time about an emergency access code that they're providing to people who can't get in, or they're having to rotate it every 60 days, and then they have to change it and notify everybody. So the ability to create these codes at the individual level is really something I know people are benefiting from.
Definitely. We just click save there and we can see that that code gets added. So that code will instantly start working at the keypad there. Now say I want this code to expire in 2 days, but it's already been used. I don't want it to be there no more. On the right side, you can see an actions bar. Clicking on that, we can rather edit or delete it. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it here. And there we can see it is now gone. That code will no longer work at the facility. So a few things we just went over there is going to be the alerts. We can set up email or text alerts for any specific event that happens at your facility. It is very fluid and flexible with what you can do there. Now with Storage Genie, we are going to go over in just the next section here how to actually configure that and set it up for individual use or disable it if you wouldn't like that. And then accessing the help page, we'll actually go over further documentation and training videos at the end. Configuration and account administration. So this is kind of the deeper dive into it. The regular facility manager probably won't have permissions to this. However, this will be how to set up different alerts or even change the keypad message. So say something's going on at the facility, something changed, you want to notify your tenants, you can actually change the keypad to state that. As well, you can change your hours of operation and add any possible other users to the IoE control system yourself. So on the left side where we were before, we're currently in alerts, but we're just going to go straight to configuration here. This will instantly bring you to the general system information page. Now, if you wanted to change the contact information that shows in Storage Genie, as there is an option within Storage Genie for your tenants to contact you, say, hey, their gate's not working, or they have a question to ask the facility manager, it does pop up with your general information. So if I click edit, we can see that the contact email and phone number are here, so you can quickly change that and edit it as you go. The next page would be the time schedules page. This is the general access hours of your facility. So accessing that, you can see the different time schedules that we can assign to your tenants. 24 hours is obviously 24 hours, but the open hours is the general access hours of your facility. If I click actions and then edit on this time schedule here, we can see when people are allowed on site, and we can actually edit that appropriately. So if I wanted to change it, instead of being 12 hours, 8 to 8 a day, we could go ahead and just click, let's say we'll change it to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Click copy, and that'll update that to every single day there. Now, as you can see, it's Sunday through Saturday, and as well, you can see an option for holidays. So if you do have any different time schedules when it comes to holidays, maybe nobody's allowed on site during holidays, or you want to give 24-hour access to that specific day, you can go ahead and click 24 hours or no access here, rather allowing or disallowing your tenants. I'm going to click save, and now from now on, your tenants will have access from 6 to 10. Now going into holidays next, you can
Actually,
actually
Corey, real quick, sorry to interrupt, but is there any limitation to the number of different schedules you can put in?
So you can put however many schedules you do want. Now, one big thing is this is in correlation with your property management software. So if you were to add one here, it might not show in your property management software. So I would definitely recommend adding that in there as well, or giving us a call as to help you out on trying to figure out how to get that done.
Thank you.
Now, holidays here, you can actually set up specific holidays. So as you know, Thanksgiving is coming up here in the United States. Now, if we wanted to update or change any holidays or create any new ones, we can add a holiday in the top right and just simply give it a name and the specific holiday date. Now, as you can see, we have Thanksgiving as a holiday here. So as you saw previously in the open hours, I actually did set it as no access. So nobody will actually be able to use the system come Thursday, the 23rd. Next, you're gonna have a few other back-end options here from devices, pairing your devices, and smart space. Facility settings is very key and important in case you want to change, say, your code format, or when people are allowed on site, or if people are allowed to tailgate or not. You can actually set all of that information here. So opening up the facility settings, instantly they're brought with the keypad input page. Here you can change the format. So as you can see, the start key is currently star and the end key is currently pound. Our system does allow it to change this. So if you did want to click on this, you can change it to have no start key or have an end key of star or pound. Now there does have to be a end key, unfortunately. It's just because there needs to be an enter button, so we'll need to know when the code is done. Then there's a few other things as well. You can change the text me my code start. So instead of star, 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 you can make it pound, pound, pound. And a few other cool or important ones down here. Now there's gateway settings here. Now this is more back-end, so you probably won't ever have to look at this page here. Keypad locking is pretty important or useful, I would say. So if you wanted to change the amount of times, say you just have tenants that it takes them a few tries to actually put in their gate code correctly, and you don't want them to get locked out for 60 seconds when they make too many mistakes, you can adjust that here. So instead of 3 tries, you can give them, say, 5 tries or possibly even 10 tries to get more tries in there. And as well, you can change the times here. So within 30 seconds, if they make 3 wrong tries, it'll lock them out. And then this is the specified time it locks them out for. Keypad rules. Each one has a good description on what each one does here. Now, if you wanted to always allow exit after facility close. So even though sites close for the day and you wanted tenants to still be able to leave afterwards, you can set that setting there. Or if you wanted to prevent tailgaters, so if somebody tailgated in, you can actually disallow them from leaving and they have to see the facility manager as they tailgated in. Now, to what Bill asked me earlier on changing that loitering time, this is actually where you can set that. So looking at this here, we do have it as 3 hours. Now you can set this all the way up to 20 hours if you'd like. By default, it is 3. Then you can change a few more things from loitering prevents exit, allow visitors to exit, allow delinquent tenants to exit, as well as a grace period on allowing people to exit the facility. By default, we have it as 900 seconds, or that's about 15 minutes after your facility closes. And then this will be when people automatically are marked off site. So by default, if a tenant doesn't leave the facility or they tailgate out the exit gate, we don't know they ever left. So we just have a specified time here that will just instantly mark them off site. So we can actually not keep them in the system so they don't flood the on-site queue.
Corey, while we're here, we may be able to knock out a couple of these questions. One of them was, could you please say again what tenant needs to type into the keypads to get the code texted? You can set that yourself in here, correct?
Correct, yeah. So if we go back
Yep.
to keypad input here, we can see the text me my code start. So by default, it has to be 3 of rather star or pound, whatever you'd like to set it as. By default, it is star. So if I put in star, 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 my phone number, and then pound to end, because that is our end key here, it'll actually send me that code via text.
And another question along that same vein is would they have to put a sign on the keypad telling them they have to hit star, 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 or could the keypad let them know after 3 attempts to put in star, 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 their phone number, and then pound?
So we could change the keypad message to say that afterwards. So if they aren't getting it, they just can't get it, you can change that keypad message so when they make too many mistakes, it'll actually say, please enter this to receive your code.
Excellent, thank you.
Then a few other pages here, we do have the keypad rules and the unit alarm. So if you wanted to automatically disarm any vacant units or having a delay for any time that the alarms go off, you can set that there. Keypad messages going into exactly what we were just talking about there. We can change the keypad on any one of these events here. So if I make the full list here, we can see all the different states your keypad can be in. Now the general state of when your keypad's idle and nobody's using it is going to be your open hours welcome. We can click actions and edit that, and we can see exactly what it says there. Now if we wanted to change this to say system closed or facility closed or updated hours, we can actually change one of these lines here to say that appropriately so your tenants can be better notified of your system. Or let's say the hurricane's coming through, you're in Florida, you want to restrict access to your facility, you can actually go to facility disabled here, go to actions, edit, and by default it says system disabled. But if you wanted to say disabled due to weather, or possibly disabled for your convenience, or disabled for your safety, you can actually add that there.
And you can add a phone number for them to call, correct?
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
You can choose different lines here. Now, each line you can only do 20 characters, so definitely you'll have to spread it out there.
I love it. So it's such a different customer experience. We're getting heavy weather. We're in Florida. People want to get their landscaping equipment out of their facility. They get to the thing, they punch in the keypad. Normally, nothing happens. It just denies them access. In this particular case, the keypad will literally say, closed due to inclement weather, call this phone number.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really powerful. Thank you.
Perfect. Then going into the different areas here, this is more back-end configuration of the different areas and action groups and transitions and what tenants have access to. So the access profiles is what we do pull from your property management software. We can set up separately within our system. So if you wanted to restrict tenants from going to different areas of the facility, say you got building A, B, C, and D, and you only want tenants in building A to have access to A, B to B, etc., you can actually set that up here. Set the different zones so we can get that done and your tenants aren't accessing different areas of the facility that they're not allowed to. As well, you can see the configuration for the systems we do integrate with. So like I said before, we do integrate with Honeywell Lyric as well. One thing that most people don't know, we do integrate with Amazon Alexa as well. So if you do have an Alexa at your facility and you'd like to have it there so you could talk to it, say, hey, who's on site, or possibly open my gate, you could do that there. Lastly, the Storage Genie configuration. Now this is pretty key or important. From here, we can actually disable or enable the facility's access to Storage Genie. We can set it to auto open by default, or if we wanted to restrict Storage Genie to specific tenants, so if we wanted to sell it as a separate software there to your tenants, you can actually disallow Storage Genie to specific people and only give specific people access. So let's say Unit 127 and Unit 2101 did pay for the service. Now they have access to use the Storage Genie app. Going further into it, at the side here, we didn't really go over portfolio overview too much. So going into that, we can go ahead and click on dashboard here. This will actually bring you the dashboard or the information on your entire portfolio. So for our facility, we only got one facility on here, but we can see the general information. So if you were an area manager or owner and operator that had multiple facilities within our system, this will show all of the information between all of them. As you can see, the counts for August, September, and October, we can see the amount of visits we had, the amount of unique visits, as well as loitering visits and average length of stay. Few different filters. We could filter it by specific facilities or regions, as well as visitor types, so by guest codes, tenant codes, or non-tenants. Scrolling down, you do have a heat map of when your facility is most used or throughout the day, and then a popular times, which we did see on the previous dashboard, but this is for your entire portfolio here. Facility map is what we started on there. This will show a full map of everything in your portfolio. And then we got reporting, which was the reporting for every single one of your facilities within your portfolio. So if you want to pull up a list of all of your visitors or all of the loitering events that are happening within your entire portfolio, that's a fairly quick way of doing so. Then configuration here. If you want to set a general setting for all of your facilities, say you have 20 different facilities and you want it to be streamlined and the same throughout all these here, we can actually set the different settings. So if you wanted to make the access code the same for all of them, we can go ahead and enable the access code. So if we wanted to create all of them to be star code then pound, we can set that there, or any of these other settings that we just went over.
So that was one of the questions also. Do they have to go into each facility individually to do configurations and settings? So the case is no. If you want to know what you can do across multiple facilities, go to your portfolio overview and the configuration, and you'll see there what you can do one-to-many instead of just one-to-one.
Definitely a big time saver. And so you don't have to go into each individual one, fairly quick and easy.
Yeah, we also have on our roadmap and in development right now more one-to-many functionality for user management. I know there's a question about changing emails across, you change district managers across 10 facilities. You just want to do those 10, not one at a time. So we've heard the feedback there, and we're definitely working on making more user management configurations and settings changes, give you the ability to do one-to-one, one-to-many, or one-to-all.
So, then the very final section that we're going to be going over here is the administration for your facility. So clicking on administration, then configuration, we can see a list of all of the facilities within our portfolio. We can click on them to see the specific dashboards for them. But at the top there, you can see users. You can actually create users. So if you have a different facility manager or a new regional manager that you need to create a user for and give them access to their specific region or facility, here we can just click add user on the right, give them their specific role. So if they're facility manager, regional manager, account administrator, you can create that there, fill out their first and last name with their email, and then even if you select facility manager here, you can select the specific facilities they should have access to. So other than that, that wraps up about everything for configuration and account administration. A few things we went over: how to create, remove, or update authorized users, all facility settings with setting access hours, loitering access, the text met code, and the requirements of so, and a few things we went over with keypad and configurations of requiring tailgating, stop and loitering, and any grace periods or keypad lockouts.
Wonderful, Corey. Thank you so much. So the first thing I look at when we do a webcast like this is, what percentage of the people stayed for the entire presentation? And just to be clear, 173 of you stayed, and there was 184 at the highest point. So only 11 people decided to drop out of 184. So hopefully this was valuable information. I'd love for you to put in what was missing. I see some feature requests already in the questions. Go ahead, type away. But at this point, we can go through as many of these questions as we can and answer them for you. So the first question, Corey, is, can alerts be added to a cell number and not the office location main number that is not text enabled?
Yeah, so if we go into the user, so quickly to show how to do so, within your users here, say I set up my user with the account administrator, the facilities phone number, and I want to change that to a different phone so I can receive alerts on, say, the company phone or the facilities phone. I can go here, update the phone number here, and then that'll start receiving alerts to that phone number instead.
Wonderful. Actually, pop it back to the other slide. Let's go to the next slide so everybody can document our support and contact information. If you have any questions on how to set stuff up, or you saw something on here you want to know how to do better, that would be the support information there, that phone number and that email address. My support manager is going to kill me that we did this for 180 people, but look, we want you using the system. We want you in control panel. We want you using the control center. Question 2, can I get a scheduled report for customers that did not use the keypad on entry?
So there's a few different options within scheduled reporting here. So if we want to quickly look at those, go into scheduled reports, we can see the different options that we do have for our reporting. So you'll have the units, the visitors, and the application events and facility events, visitors activities. If we go to facility events here, this will give you the general report of all the events here. Now we don't have a specific scheduled report for that time, but if you do go into the facility events, you can select the specific options you would like to see to further define that if you did want to receive a similar report to that.
So which one would it be for they did not use the entry, but they used the exit?
So for that specific one, I actually do believe that is a report that is not scheduled. So
got it. But they can get it in the loitering report.
Exactly, yep.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, sir. Let's see here. Can you create a master code, or do you need to create a code for each site individually? I'm not sure what is meant by code. I'm assuming a one code that everybody could use, maybe an owner or VP of operations or district manager, one code that they could use across multiple facilities.
I would assume it's probably one code that is kind of used for their entire portfolio. Within our system, it would have to be added into each separate facility. So you would have to go into the non-tenants page of that facility and create that code. As if you had like a district manager or a regional manager, you'd have to go into each facility and add that.
Okay, so let's make sure we add that to the one-to-many request for enhancements. Can we get text alerts for multiple code attempts after hours only to thwart potential theft in real time if they're guessing codes?
So you can set alerts, say for any time that an invalid passcode attempt does get put in there. Now, there is no alert for the retry event. So if somebody puts it in 4 or 5 times and it starts the countdown at 60 seconds, locking down the keypad, there is no alert for that.
Got it. But it sounds like in this particular case, he thinks people are just trying random codes. If we did 5 different random codes over a certain period of time, we could alert them to that.
Correct.
Correct. Can we get the developers to allow more time customizations as to when we do and do not receive alerts? I will certainly add that into the enhancement request form. Can we set alerts to text and email for certain alerts like system down and email only? So yes, we showed that. Hopefully you saw that.
One thing for the alerts that you're saying to only receive alerts between a specific time, actually on the alerts page, there's a silence alerts between 2 specific times. So if you only wanted to receive alerts, say during business hours, you can silence it during certain parts of the day.
Wonderful. It says our circle is green, but the warning says gateway controller device has a tamper alarm. Everything appears to be working fine. Why would this show?
So our tamper alarm is pretty sensitive, I will say. So the yellow box in there, if say somebody was to bump it with their chair when they're walking by, or potentially the technician when they're working on it didn't close the door properly, it will set the tamper alarm off. Now, if you call into our support guys, they could definitely send a update to the system to hopefully clear that tamper.
Wonderful. Let's see. Will you be building a portal where we can view our account, billing, payments, and make a payment? Oh, with OpenTech? God, I love that. And yes, the answer is yes. It doesn't happen quickly. We've got a product called Open Portal right now that we're working on changing. So that's a great question, but probably not in the first half of this coming year, but we're with you. We'd rather you could do a lot of that stuff online. Did you fix the error for entering in new employees and requiring a phone number? I don't know that error. I'm not familiar with it.
That we did. It was an error we had with changing phone numbers about a month or 2 ago, but our developers has since fixed that, so you can update or change phone numbers as you go.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Do you integrate with Storage Commander? Yes. Feature request, adding visitors to multiple facilities at once. Noted. We answered that one. Good info today. Thank you all for hosting the webinar. Oh, that's nice. How can I add this to my off-site desktop?
So the IoE Control Center, it is just a website. Now, different web browsers do give you the option to create shortcuts to websites on your desktop. For example, quickly I can show you how to do it on Chrome, which is what I'm using now. So at the top right here, if you click the 3 dots, you can scroll down to more tools. And then there's a create shortcut page right there, and that'll create a shortcut on your desktop, which you can then pin to your taskbar at the bottom of your screen to make it a little bit more accessible to you.
And since it is a web-based solution, maintained it at Amazon Web Services, all you need is a internet connection and you can access it anywhere. So that's great. How do we troubleshoot Storage Genie not working on one keypad when all others are working on site? Call tech support. A lot of times we have to adjust the beacon. Sometimes keypads are close together and it's opening both of them. So we do a lot of work on adjusting the strength of the beacon. So call into that support number right there and they can work with you on that. How do you set up the 3-star phone number message to appear after a tenant entered, sorry, the wrong code 3 times? You want to show them where that keypad message would be updated?
Definitely. So going to configuration here, keypad messages. So there's going to be the invalid passcode attempt, but there's also the during code input and the invalid access time. Now the actual countdown screen that says 60 seconds, 40 seconds, 30 seconds, that screen will not be able to show, but you can set it on the invalid access, or sorry, invalid passcode screen. So going here in actions, edit keypad message, you can add that towards the bottom there.
Beautiful. How do you update your main email address on the account if it needs to be changed?
For that, if you are changing somebody else's account, you just have to recreate the user, as it is a permanent email there. So if you need to change it, you can call into us and we'll basically recreate your user underneath the new email.
Let's add that as an enhancement request. How does my gate update from my SiteLink software when I change a code in SiteLink? It doesn't seem to update until the next day. Well, we integrate two ways, one via the API, which would be near real time, but also one way we call, which is File Watcher, which is SiteLink's pushing data out to a local file and then it's pushing it up to us. It shouldn't, either way, it shouldn't take a day necessarily. I would reach out to support and see if you're actually on the API integration or the File Watcher integration. And if you're not on the API, let's get you on that right away. Sorry, Corey. I think I knew the answer to that one, so I went ahead.
You got it.
I do not have a login that allows me to edit under configuration. My facility managers have individual local region. How can I attain access to IoE with full access to configuration for both of my facilities? Well, your administrator can do that internally. So you have an administrator on the account that has access to do all things and can change your security rights. So I would reach out to your internal folks. If you are the owner operator or you are that person that thinks they should be the administrator, reach out to support. And Corey, always correct me if I'm wrong.
Spot on.
Well, we're 2 minutes over. 135 of you still stayed on. We're going to have to send out the answers to the rest of these questions. There's about 25 more. So, oh my God, we're so blessed. Thank you so much for attending. We hope this was valuable for you. We want to hear from you. Should we do more of these? What should we do? We'll send you a response with all of the answers to the questions, also with an introduction to your customer success manager. So if you have ideas on what we can do more of, do better, or change, we'd love to hear it. Folks, Corey, great job today. Thank you so much for showing everybody out there the system. And folks, thank you so much. You have an amazing, amazing day. Bye-bye.